So, I'll start where we start normally with everyone on this,
Good.
because it's only fair.
Yeah.
Origin stories. Where did Guy Doucet grow up?
I grew up in Montreal. I was born in New Brunswick when my parents moved to Montreal when I was 2. So I lived in Montreal pretty much my whole life.
And then did you just get into hockey when you were in there, because that's what you're supposed to do?
Actually, I just went up to my dad one day and I said, "Dad, why is everybody else playing hockey and not me?" And he said, "Why, do you want to play hockey?" I said, "Yeah, I'd love to." And I was 7, I think. 7, yeah. So which is a bit old.
That's later than most people.
For people in Quebec, it's a bit older. But yeah, I just asked him and I started playing and I was pretty good at it right away. So I stuck to it.
Had you done any skating or anything before that then?
Nobody in my family really played hockey, but like, it's Montreal, so yeah, I skated on the outdoor rinks and I skated, at Christmas, probably at my grandparents' place and stuff like that, but nothing crazy before that, no.
And so was it always? Did you watch it on telly?
Or
was it literally just everyone else is doing it?
Yeah, just everybody else at school was playing hockey, and we used to play a lot outside, like on the road, street hockey all the time. But then I just wondered, why is everybody else playing on the team and not me? And my dad said, "Sure, you can play on the team if you want to." I think that seriously, I always tell this story and it's kind of funny, but I think I'm lucky because a lot of guys grew up with parents that were all over them. Like I remember as a kid, guys that were way better than me, but their parents were just all over them and like pushing them. I just played because I wanted to, because I liked it, and I think that's something that goes a long way.
So do you remember your first game when you were a kid then?
I remember my first team, because I always wanted to play goal.
You wanted to be a goalie?
I wanted to be a goalie, and it was back.
Did you try being a goalie then?
So back then we didn't have a goalie. Everybody that played in that team or in that age group would rotate and be the goalie, and I couldn't wait. I just wanted to play goalie. And when it got to my turn, the coach said, "No, you're too good up front. You're not." But now that I think about it, like, who cares? I was 7. Who cares if we won that game or not? I just wanted to be a goalie, but I never got to be a goalie.
That's pretty cool. It could have been a whole different career then if you've actually got that chance.
Because when I played street hockey and I played mini hockey and stuff, I just wanted to be a goalie. But yeah, maybe if I
is that because you're always involved as a goalie? Was that?
I don't know. There's something about being a goalie. But now when I'm older, there's no way I could be a goalie.
Because I remember when I had Kevin on this, he was telling me that what fascinated him about goalies was the masks.
Yes.
That's what really...
I think the gear. When I was a kid, the gear fascinated me. Like, that's what I wanted.
So then the first team I've got for you on here is the Montreal, and I'm going to butcher this name completely, Bourassa Angevins.
Bourassa, yeah.
Yeah. So what do you remember about the QM AAA?
So that's back then it was the best league you could play in as a 15-year-old. It was a pretty big deal for me. I got called up. I didn't make the team right away, and I got called up around Christmas. And yeah, that's one of my coolest memory. I got called up, which was kind of a big deal for a 15-year-old to play for that midget AAA team, and I scored on my first shift.
Oh, that's good. Do you remember the goal?
I think it's I won the face-off, went to the point, and I scored on the rebound. Pretty sure. And then I scored a hat trick in like my second weekend up with them, and then they asked me, "Do you want to finish the season with us?" And I said, "Yeah, sure."
You can't argue with that then.
No.
And then you were stuck in that league but moved team to next year.
No, so it's the same team, but
change
names, yeah. So when you're midget AAA, it's still the same. It's based on where you live.
Oh, okay.
So there's no draft or anything. It's just based on where you live. And they just... Back then the league was moving with associating the team and the school, so we kind of were named by the school after that. And yeah, I played in the same team the second year.
Is it at this point you're starting to think, I want to make a career out of this, I want to give this a proper go?
At this point I'm starting to think I would really like to play in the Q.
Okay.
The Q, which is the
QMJHL,
which is the best. It's the CHL. It's the best junior league in the world, basically. I never really, even from a young age, I never really dreamt of the NHL. I think I knew I was never gonna make it. I was not really the kind of kid that would dream of things that would never happen. But I really thought if I could play in the queue, I'm gonna play in the queue.
You did you get drafted to the queue?
Yeah, I got drafted.
So you go to the next league, which is the QJ AAA HL for the Kanawake Condors.
Yeah.
And then from there you get drafted out of there to the queue.
No. So I got drafted from the midget AAA team, which the second year. So you in Canada or in Quebec, you get drafted as a 15 or 16-year-old. I did not get drafted as a 15-year-old. I got drafted as a 16-year-old in the 15th round of the draft. I don't even think there's 15th round anymore. In junior draft, I think it goes to 11. I got drafted really, really late. I had a good camp in Rouyn-Noranda, but I didn't make the team. So I played junior AAA. But okay, so that's actually a good something to address, because the guy that cut me from that junior major team and told me to go play junior AAA for Kanawake is the guy that just got named head coach of Team Canada World Juniors for next World Juniors. So he was my coach in junior, and I that was my dream to play in the queue, and I worked so hard in camp. I had a good camp, but I was still young. I was still not a great defensive player. I was pretty one-dimensional. So he told me, go down and get some confidence, and we'll call you back up. And they called me up. I think I played 10 games that year. 8. But I was healthy scratch for a bunch. So I was there for maybe 15, but played 8. But then I did really well in junior AAA, which is like tier 2 junior. It's junior A in Ontario. They would call it junior A. I did really well. I scored a lot of goals, so I think it helped me in the long run.
Well, when you finally get to the queue, you've got 2 familiar faces from the Elite League in that team. And one I can't believe you're almost the same age as, which is Alex Balduc. Yeah. Because as much as I like Alex, he looks a lot older than you do.
Yeah. He's only a year older. I think he's an 85. Yeah. Yeah. And the other guy is Desbiens.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yes.
What do you remember about those 2 guys?
They were both drafted in the NHL when I joined the team, but they were both really good guys.
They're both kind of gritty players, aren't they?
Back then, Bo was a bit more skillful.
Oh, okay.
I think he developed as kind of defensive forward, gritty, shutdown guy more in his professional career. In the queue, he was still an offensive, great skater. But Debs was more like not an enforcer, because he could play. He scored a bunch of goals and stuff, but he was tough and he hit hard. And they took good care of me. I was like I was only a year younger than them, but I was kind of a rookie, so they took care of me. We had a great team that year. A bunch of us still talk and still hang out.
And so you finally get in the queue. You do score a goal in those 8 games that you played.
Yeah,
I'm sure you remember that one.
That's my first. Same thing as midget AAA. I scored in my first game on my first shift. Called up, on the road in Gatineau. Kind of also, I think, a rebound. I just went to the net and popped up, and I put it 5-0, I think.
Still got that puck at home somewhere?
Yeah. Somewhere.
Yeah,
somewhere. Yeah.
So you stick with Rouen for the next year as well, is it?
Rouen.
The Huskies. Stick with the Huskies.
Yeah.
And you get to play 68 games.
Yeah.
So that's a lot more than you've ever played before in one season. How did you cope with that kind of thing?
You kind of know when you make it to like the queue, it's almost professional. Like, you move away from home, you live in a bit of family. It's hockey. So you kind of just go with the flow. At that age, we don't really get tired. But we did play a lot of 3-3s and 4-5s and stuff like that. A lot of games. I think I was probably healthy scratch for 2 or 4. I don't know if we played 72 games or 70. Early in the season, when I was still kind of trying to prove myself, I was healthy scratch, and then I ended up, sticking up, and I did pretty well.
And you also got to experience the playoffs for the first time that year as well. That must have been a pretty cool experience.
Yeah, back in North America, that's what you play for. It was actually the first time that we actually, we had a chance. We played Moncton in the first round. They had a bunch of NHLers, Brad Marchand, Steve Bernier,
Was Marchand still then like he is now? Or was he a bit more toned down then?
He was 16, I was 18, and that was actually my first hockey fight, was Brad Marchand in the playoffs.
That's got to be on YouTube somewhere.
Maybe it was kind of, I don't know.
Someone's going to go out there and try and find this now.
Try to find it. It was a playoff game in the queue, and he dropped the glove, so I had no choice but to drop, and he was stronger than me. He was 2 years younger than me, but he was stronger than me. But at that time, he was, like, we all knew that these guys are going to be stars, like he's Crosby, those guys. You kind of knew Giroux. But Marchand was a good player, but I don't think anybody would have guessed the career he's having. He was a good player, but I didn't, when somebody told me, oh, he's 16-year-old in Moncton, he's going to be a good player, I didn't see it. But yeah, he became a pretty good player.
Yeah. Quite clever. He went from just an agitator to now he's a go-to, massive contract, everything. Yeah,
he does everything. But a good story about that playoff run is, so we beat Moncton and then we played Halifax in the second round, and we thought we had a pretty good team. Like, I think we finished first in our division. Like, we were solid. We played Halifax and they just butchered us. They killed us. I think we lost 4 games in a row. And then they ended up, that was in the semifinal, and they ended up playing Rimouski in the final, which is Crosby's team. And we thought they're a good, like, they killed us 4-0. They're a good team. They're going to give Rimouski a run for their money. They killed Rimouski in 4 games. So I guess we were not that good. We were not as good as we thought we would be, maybe.
At least you lost to the team that got all the way, kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's some saving grace at least. And then you're there the next year. It's the same story again. 70 games, another playoff run.
Mm.
Then the same again. And then does the team change its name?
No, I got traded.
You got traded?
Yeah.
So what's that experience like as a teenager?
I expected it because, okay,
happens every time. Every time. Just keep going.
In junior major, you can only have 3 overagers in your team, 3 guys that play juniors but are 20-year-old. So going into my 20-year-old season, I knew there was a bunch of us that were going to be on the same kind of fighting for the same jobs, and the coach, Tourigny, the coach that's going to coach Team Canada, just told me at my exit interview that he's probably not going to keep me. He's going to try to trade me because I had a decent season as a 19-year-old, and I think he thought he could get something in return. And he liked other guys better than me. So I got traded to PI, but I knew it was coming.
They're invested in guys who are drafted as well, aren't they? That's the thing.
A little bit, yeah.
Like guys who are going to the NHL, they know they're going to the NHL,
yeah.
So people are invested in them doing well before they get there.
And the junior teams get rewarded. If you get a guy that gets drafted in the NHL, you get rewarded, you get some money. So they want to do well. They want to get those young guys and help them move up. But yeah, I kind of expected to get traded. So it was not a big shock.
And you go to Prince Edward Island Rocket, you come across another familiar face in Joey Haddad.
Oh, yeah.
What do you remember about Joey from back then?
Joey's still a little bit of a funny character, but back then he was a young and immature funny character. I don't think he would mind me saying that.
David Ling told a story about another Cardiff one about Stephen Dixon used to sleep in a bathrobe in the bath in hotel rooms.
Oh, never heard that
so
one.
You're not going to top that one. So
okay.
Joey will be fine with that.
Yeah, he was a rookie I think when I was 20. We didn't hang out together at all. But I liked his game. I thought he was a good player, but when I left and I went to university, he became like a dominant player in juniors, and then obviously we became friends when I played with him in Cardiff.
So when you have that year again, it's another 70 games, 71 points. That year goes really, really well for you. Then you get another 7-game playoff run.
Yeah.
Was that just a case of just running into another hot team?
We were not that good, and we made a few trades at the deadline that showed us the players that the organization was kind of building for the future, not for this season, because we had a decent team and we were in a good position at Christmas, and then they traded a few guys for draft picks and made some trades that didn't really strengthen us now, but they were thinking more of the future. So It was a bit disappointing because it was my last year, and I knew as a 20-year-old I was not going to play in the queue anymore. So you're hoping to go for a run. But we played Bathurst in the first round. We should have won. We lost in 7, but they had their first line was Mathieu Perrault, plays in Winnipeg. And who else was there? I don't know if there's other guys that made it to the Elite League, but they had a good team. Yeah.
And so from there, you don't go to like the coast or anything. You go back to school. Mm-hmm. What made you make that decision?
I think it's the same. I was very realistic when it comes to my hockey career, and I knew that if I gave it a shot in North America, I would end up on the bus in the coast making no money. I was not big. I was not the fastest. I was not tough at all. So I knew I would not probably make it to the A. So I said, nah, I'm not. The East Coast is not for me. And McGill is a really good university, and they had a good hockey program.
Was that your first choice, or did you go and visit? Did you go and visit other places?
I did visit a couple other, but McGill is my hometown in Montreal, and I played in Rouen and PEI, so I hadn't been home in 3-4 years. So it was a good opportunity for me to live at home and go back to Montreal, and it's one of the top university in Canada. So it's a good hockey program too. It was an easy choice.
What did you study when you were there?
Physical education.
How was that?
Good. No, it was fun. I'm a good student. I was a really good student, but I don't think I'll be a phys ed teacher.
Do you think you'll be a teacher anytime soon?
No.
I'm sure you feel like a teacher every day at the minute.
Yeah, sometimes, but teaching kids and teenagers is a completely different ballgame.
Very true.
Yeah.
So what do you remember about your first game when you're playing for McGill? Because that must have been a pretty special moment for you.
Yeah. It was good. My coach back then, Marty Raymond, that's the coach. My coach at McGill, loved him. He was the coach. This hot Ottawa Senators taxi Uber thing.
Oh.
That's the guy they're talking about in the Uber. But I can only say good things about Marty.
You can speak to your experiences with people, can't you?
Yeah. Matt Duchesne doesn't like him, but that's not my problem.
No.
He was really good for us, but basically what I'm trying to say is he was very, very loyal to his returning and older players.
Okay.
So I came up and I had to prove myself. No, I don't know, like maybe no power play, maybe third line when I first got to McGill, because some guys had been there for 3, 4, 5 years and they're his guys, and the younger guys had to work for it. But it's okay. I learned a lot. We made it to the national championship all four my season in McGill actually. But yeah.
And so second year there, you're joined by Max Perron, who played in Nottingham, and we'll get to you played with in Nottingham, and Francis Vero-Paul,
who I played with in MK.
So there's always these links back to What do you remember about, was it like Max back then?
Max back then was probably the same Max as he is now. Just a loud character, funny. I love Max, and he took really well care of me when I came here. I showed up mid-January that season. I got along well with Max. He was just a strong, just a freak of nature. I don't know if you guys know this, but he went to the Tampa Bay Lightning training camp after his college career, and he finished first in all the strength tests. He was just a freak of nature, but he had hips problems, back problems, probably because he was too strong. But yeah, that year he was just that player on the ice, strong and fast, and yeah.
And you stick with those two guys throughout McGill.
Yeah,
they're there the whole time. Then you finish up in university. Did you have the choice then to go and be a PE teacher or go and pursue this hockey dream somewhere else?
Yeah. I graduated. I had all my internship done, and I was loving it. But I still loved the game. I was not ready to just stop playing hockey cold turkey like this. So my plan was to go to Europe for a year and come back. And that's 10 years ago.
Well, that worked out.
Yeah, that worked out. Yeah.
So was the plan always France initially then? Or were you just looking all across Europe?
I was looking all across Europe. I actually, because I knew you could do your master's degree playing in this league. in the Elite League. So I sat down one day, I'll remember that day forever. I sat down one day at McGill in the coach's office, and we sent an email with kind of a few clips of me, a bit of video, and my resume to every single Elite League team. Every single one. I didn't get one response. 0.
Oh, wow.
Because I really wanted to do my master's. I was right away attracted by the UK for that, but that didn't work out because nobody got back to me. So now when people email me about coming here, even if I'm not interested, I write back because I know the feeling.
Through that experience.
Yeah. But no, I ended up in France, but that was a great experience too.
Well, what do you remember about, again,
Morzine Avoria?
There we go.
Morzine Avoria is probably...
Is that a town or is it?
It's a ski resort.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
It's probably the best place to play in the world. Seriously.
Imagine the views are just incredible.
It's unbelievable. And back then, the French League had 26 games. So I'm not joking. The first year I played there for 2 seasons. And the first season I was a bit it was my first year pro. I wanted to do well.
You're as far away from home as you've ever been there as well.
Yeah. But it's everybody speaks French, so I didn't feel completely...
The French Canadian is different to French, isn't it? Is it the words that are different or just the way everything's said?
We speak a lot in slang, but it's the same. We use some older words that they make fun of us for using those words, but they understand. Unless you don't make an effort, they understand everything. But a few times I ordered something in French and they answered back in English, and that really insults me. It's my first language. If you answer back in English, come on. But it was unbelievable experience. We had in our contracts, we had a ski pass and ski equipment supplied by the team. Wow. And the first year I was a bit maybe not scared, but a bit careful. And we went skiing on the breaks. You know, in France there's a lot of international breaks. You know. Went skiing a bit here and there. But the second year, I got good at skiing, and everybody. It's a small town. You know the weather. You kind of you feel comfortable. And I probably skied every Sunday during the winter. Every Sunday, every break, we didn't go anywhere. We didn't travel. We just stayed and skied. It was really something special. Like, it's a great mountain resort. The snow is unbelievable. It's a party town. It was awesome.
It's better than being stuck in a little town in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. If you're going to be in a small town, might as well go somewhere small with ski. Yeah.
This is not a Sunday useful.
No, exactly. Exactly.
Then in that team, you've got Shane Lust, who played for Glasgow.
For Dundee and Brea.
And also Colin Shields.
Yeah.
Which is pretty unique.
Yeah, I played with Shieldsy. I think it's his...
Did you ask him, how the hell do I get hold of anyone in the Elite League? Because no one will talk to me.
Yeah, for sure. We talked about it for sure. I think it's the only year Shieldsy was out of the Elite League.
I think he came back and went back to Sheffield and then ended up back in Belfast.
In Belfast, yeah. But yeah, we were close that year. Me and Shields. I lived with Shane Lust, and me and Shieldsy were really close. We hung out a lot, went skiing a lot. But yeah, I discussed the Elite League and how do I get there? Help me out. And I think I don't know if he threw my name around. Probably not enough because I ended up in Hull. But yeah.
He's a legend of the British game.
Yeah,
and I'm pretty sure that even then you must have been aware of what. Were you even aware of what his stature was at that point? Or was he just were you just oh, there's a British guy here?
I mean, obviously we looked at stats, so everybody knew he had good numbers, and he was a good player. He could produce and score a lot of goals. I don't think I was aware of how famous he was and how big he was. He did drive a crazy expensive car, so I figured he was maybe
could have been in his deal.
Yeah, it could have been in his deal. I don't know, but I probably didn't realize how big of a legend he was until I came here.
And then it's a no-brainer, obviously, everything you described for you to re-sign there when they come to you and say, "Do you want to come back again?" It's just
it was. A little bit of a salary increase, a little bit of a better condition and everything, but I get to ski for one more season. Yeah, sure.
Well, as you mentioned before, it's quality of life, isn't it? Get that.
Exactly.
You can't compete with that kind of thing.
And I knew I still had a few years left. At that point, I was like, I still have a few good years left in me of playing. I felt good. I was not injured, So I just decided to stay.
So it's 2 years pro. You get a little bit of professional playoff experience out there as well. So what was that like?
Good. The only thing I remember, the first thing that comes to me is in the French league. I don't know if it's still like this, but in French league there was shootouts in playoffs.
Ooh.
And we lost. Okay, we lost. It was a best out of 5. We lost in 5, and I think the two out of 3 losses were in a shootout, and that was so heartbreaking. And the guy that scored in the shootout was a non-factor in the game. That made it even worse because I was like, who's that guy? He played 3 shifts, but he scored 2 shootout goals, and we got kicked out of the playoff. So that was heartbreaking.
Yeah, that's brutal. That is.
Yeah.
And then finally, your time does come in the Elite League.
Yeah, finally.
Did you do the same thing again, apply to all the teams, or did Hull reach out to you?
I asked my teammate from that year in France, Conrad Reeder, for his agent, because I knew he told me his agent could easily get me a job in the Elite League if I wanted to. So I said, yeah, put him in touch with me. Back then it was not like it is now. There was not a ton of video available on guys, so you needed someone that could sell you to teams. Right now, obviously that's my job now, but if I get a name, I can easily look him up.
Sure, all you do is watch videos.
Yeah, that's all I do now. But if somebody tells me a name, I don't have to make 25 phone calls. I do make phone calls, but I could just watch him.
Well, the phone calls now from off the character references, aren't they?
Exactly. And for off ice and stuff that you don't really see on tape. But back then, there's no way you could find tape. So this agent kind of took the time to talk to me, and I don't know, he was able to get me a job in the Elite League, and I took it for the schooling. I was just so excited to be able to play and get my master's at the same time.
Was Cloutier the coach then?
Yeah.
So because that whole team has got some pretty good names on it. You've got Sylvain Cloutier, Jeremy Tendler, Jason Silverthorne, who's a legend in the British game again. You've also got Omar Pasha, and Ben Bounds.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of familiar faces in there.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you played with Tendler and Silverthorne.
I played with Tendler and Davies.
Oh, he got all the assists, the British guy, didn't he?
Yeah. And then that was maybe for the first half of the year, and then I played with Lauzon and Davies, I think. Me and Lowe's scored a lot of goals that year. My
favourite thing about Hull was the disco ball in the middle of the roof.
What a nice place to play.
And Chip Spice was good.
Yeah, Chip Spice.
What do you remember about playing in Hull then? Because that was as the rink, it was there was always a good atmosphere in that little.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. It was we had a good team, well, not a good team like winning wise, but we had fun, good group of guys, and we didn't take ourselves too seriously. Back then, the Elite League was not what it is now. We were pretty realistic we were not going to win the league, but we tried hard, we worked hard, and we had fun together. I was happy because Klutz gave me his confidence right away. I was given a lot of freedom, a lot of ice time, and it was nice to actually, that's what I like doing, is scoring goals. So it was nice to score a bunch of goals.
And so you get to experience Ben Bounds in one of his first, Well, I think that was when he just come up from the Steel Dogs, or the year after, or something.
That was the second year as a starter in the Elite League. I think he was there the year before me. He was a starter in Hull too.
What do you remember? Do you remember him having? Do you think he had the potential to be what he's become?
Yeah.
Since then?
He was really young, and he showed some flashes. I think back then Boundsy was struggling with consistency. I think he would say the same thing. He could be unbelievable some games, and some games he was. He was still young, and the league was not what it is now, but it was still good. There was some good players, but he kept us in a lot of games. We made the playoffs that year, I think on the last day, beating Sheffield and Hull to make the playoffs, which I was pretty special.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I think Sheffield had nothing to play for, but we had something to play for. Cardiff did not make playoffs because of us, which was a big deal back then in the Elite League, I think. But we qualified 8 and played Belfast, and Belfast was very good that year, so we didn't have a chance. But
and then you also get to play with Omar Pasha. I know from seeing you in the corridors in the arena, you're close with still.
Yeah, we were roommates in Hull, and we studied together. He was doing the masters with me, or he studied on me. He copied everything on me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I was a better student than that.
I'm sure he might tell it the other way around.
No, I don't think so. I won't let him. I cooked for him a full year, and I did his homework for a full year. So that's why we're still close.
What did he do for you?
I drove him because he couldn't drive stick. He still can't drive stick. I think Omar cannot drive stick. I drove him around everywhere.
It sounds like he got a pretty good deal out of it.
He did. I know. He took care of me. He was a good friend. Yeah.
Did you ever think he'd be a head coach?
Well, it happened pretty quick.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good story, actually. So that year in Hull, after the season, I go back to Morzine for a ski weekend. And me and Omar stayed in Hull for a long time after the season to finish our school.
Yeah.
So he stayed in Hull because, I don't know why he didn't come with me. He should have come with me to ski, but he didn't. So I go skiing in Morzine. I'm gone for maybe a week or something. When I come back, Bobby McEwen, the owner, gave him the coaching job. Klutz, it didn't work out with Klutz. I don't know. I don't remember exactly why, but Bobby wanted a younger guy to be the player coach, and Omar was player coach right away. And that was a big shock for me. Like, I took care of Pash for a full year, and now all of a sudden he's player coach. So I remember...
And he didn't even give you a job afterwards.
Yeah. But I remember coming back home in our shitty house in Hull, and he's waiting for me, and he's like, come in my office, Doucet, I need to talk to you. He didn't have an office, so I go in his bedroom. He tells me to sit on the bench, and he tries to sign me for the year after. I couldn't believe what was going on. I was like, what? You're not the coach? What's going on? But yeah, that was Omar.
So you do leave the Elite League. Did you? I know you got to the playoffs, played 2 games. You got knocked out by
Belfast.
So did you go to the playoff weekend that year?
I did.
So what did you think of that environment? Because that's something different.
Yeah, no, that was really cool. It really opened my eyes to how big and how much potential there was. Especially playing in Hull, you don't get to play. When you come to Nottingham, it's not full. When you go to Sheffield, it's not full. We played in Sheffield.
Sheffield.
Sheffield probably most of the time. So you don't get the big show, sold out games and stuff like that. So coming to the playoff was a really cool experience. The league was nice enough to give me a room for the weekend because I was on the first team All-Star. So it was kind of like it was good, a really cool weekend. Really good experience. Yeah.
Because there's nothing else like it, is there?
No.
That playoff weekend where all the fans from every team are just locked into one place, and it's just a big celebration of everything.
The intensity of the game reminded me maybe of the national championship in college, but not the atmosphere, because there's nobody that come watch college hockey. But here it's full, and there's people everywhere. Everybody's so friendly. The town just becomes hockey town. It's something unique.
Then when you go into when you're in Hull and you're playing in what was a smaller rink, when you come into these bigger ones like Nottingham, like Sheffield, does that motivate you a bit more? Because that's sometimes the story you hear, that when the little teams come into a rink like this, it spurs them on a bit.
Yeah, no, it's for sure, and it definitely doesn't do anything bad, because you're used to maybe cold, damp, dark, and you come and it's all clean and it feels nice, and the dressing room is spacious and it's warm, and you go on the ice and it's a nice barn with bright lights. It definitely makes it easier to get motivated. It's easier to feel like, I'm gonna spoil this party, I'm gonna put on a show, and these fans are gonna go home pissed, disappointed. So yeah.
So you finish your studies in Hull, you get your masters, and then you go to Denmark.
Yeah.
Were you just looking for a new challenge? Or do you want a different? Obviously, your good friend is the coach in Hull, and you've had to turn him. You turned him down to go abroad.
Yeah. I would have probably stayed in Elite League if I would have been able to get a job in a top club.
Okay.
But that didn't happen. The Panthers didn't want me.
Oh, how times change.
Yeah.
We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
Once you finished about Denmark.
I tried to go to Belfast, didn't work out. So I said, let's try something different. I thought maybe if I could go to Denmark, and because I had a really good season for my standards. My season in Hull was
69 points in 52 games. There's nothing to sneeze at.
No, that when you put the league and back then the league and the Challenge Cup games were all in one. Now there's separated.
16 and 9 in the Challenge Cup.
Yeah, so I ended up with 50 goals that year with Challenge Cup and League. So I thought, like, that's going to open doors for me, which it did. But Denmark was the only interest I got in that summer. So I said, let's try it. Let's try to do well in Denmark, maybe go to Sweden or something like that. That was my thought.
And then Herlev, what kind of town is
Herlev? It's a suburb of Copenhagen. So okay, it was really cool.
It's a bit more full of life than where we were in the Continental Cup.
Yeah, no, living in Copenhagen is...
Did you play Sønderjyske?
We did. We went to Sønderjyske, but when you play on the road, you just go to the rink, so you don't know.
You don't know there's nothing there.
No. But Copenhagen is... I absolutely loved my time there. It was awesome. And I met my wife, so can't really...
You're not allowed to say anything bad about it.
No. No.
But again, once you're there, as is always the case, a few more familiar faces. Curtis Leanweber for Edinburgh and Dundee.
Yeah.
And also Trevor Koenig?
Trevor Koenig,
who's at Coventry, Newcastle, and Dundee for a bit as well.
Oh, yeah, he came back to Dundee after that, yeah. Trevor was, I think he was 39 or 40.
When he came back, he was quite...
Yeah, when I played with him, that was the year before I played with him, probably. So he was still like an experienced veteran. He took care of us again. He showed us, everything. There was he was in Denmark a few years before me, so he knew everything. It was nice to have him around, definitely. I still talk to him, and he was a legend. And I knew he was a legend in the Elite League. He was like best goalie champion with Coventry. So yeah.
And then halfway through that season, did you want to leave, or did they ask you if you wanted to find somewhere else? Because then obviously you end up in Nottingham.
Yeah, that was a bit disappointing. I wanted it so bad in Denmark, and I worked so hard. I just it was not a good fit for my style of play. The team was not doing really well. I was not unhappy, but I was not especially happy. I'm an offensive player. I think I had 8 goals or 5 goals or something. 5 goals, yeah. So it was
8 points altogether.
8 points, 5 goals.
25 games.
Yeah, that was tough. For someone like me, that's tough. So basically the coach just kind of... I don't think they... Back in Denmark, the contracts are guaranteed, so they can't just release you. They have to buy you out. And the coach just came to me and said, if you would want to go, we wouldn't keep you because... We
won't stand in your way if you find something
because else. We would like to get a defenseman and maybe try to make playoffs, which I don't think they did after I left. But I kind of left a bitter taste in my mouth, like, the coach doesn't really want me. If he doesn't want me, I didn't really feel appreciated. I didn't really feel wanted. So I said, well, if there's something good that comes up, that maybe I get a chance to play in playoffs, maybe I get a chance to win something, I'll leave. And
was it Corey who came calling you, or did your agent get in touch with him?
I still was using my agent at the time. He called Corey called him right away. I think he was interested. Cardiff was interested. Spoke to both teams, and probably happened in 24 hours.
What do you remember about your conversation with Corey?
Not much. Not much, to be honest.
The man of few words sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't remember much. I think he didn't have really to sell Nottingham to me. Like, I knew it was a good opportunity. I knew it was a good place to play. So it was not like a tough conversation. I don't even remember talking money or anything. I just... Yeah, you want me? Yeah, will I play? I know that was the big thing for me. Is I was in a position in Denmark where I was not happy, I was not confident with my game, and that takes a toll on your, more than money. For me, it was important to feel like I'm gonna be welcome, I'm gonna play, I'm gonna enjoy it. And Corey was like, we have a bunch of injuries, we need you now, and you're gonna play, don't worry. And when I talked to Lordo and Cardiff, it was a bit more, we want you, we'll see where we can fit you in.
It was the ice time.
The ice time and the opportunity. So that's what I remember talking to Corey. He was like, come, we need you. I think we played Saturday. My first game was Saturday in Sheffield. And he was like, we need you in the lineup Saturday. And that was Thursday night. And I was like, okay, let's see. But yeah.
So then you do get to Nottingham. That's the year when Nottingham were in the CHL at the start of the year.
Yeah.
So you've got guys like Craig Kowalski, you get Max Perront back on your team. You've got characters like Chris Lawrence in the team, who top point scored that year.
Yeah.
And you also get to play with another British legend in David Clarke.
I never did, actually.
Oh, did you not?
I took...
Oh, was he injured?
Yeah.
He was injured.
I took Dave's job.
Oh.
Because basically when Clarkey got shoulder surgery, they needed someone to replace him, and that was when I came in. So I never played one single game with Clarkey.
At least it must have been cool to be around him, though.
Yeah, no,
I know from talking to people that he one who, like, even this year when Brian Connolly got here, David was doing a kids thing.
Yeah.
And even then, David was like welcoming him to Nottingham and stuff. So
no, he did, and he was around, and he came to game and stuff, but he was still rehabbing his shoulder, recovering from surgery. So I kind of I was disappointed never to play a game with Clark. Yeah, I think he would say the same thing about me, I hope.
I think he said it multiple times in passing. Yeah.
Nice.
Definitely. So what do you remember about Chris Lawrence? The Loon.
The Loon. I remember Corey adjusting the schedule based on Lawrence, on the Loon's sleeping habits. You want to sleep in? No? Okay, we'll have practice earlier and stuff like that. I remember just a funny guy, and when he
was on, you couldn't stop him.
No, when he was on, whether it was fighting, whether it was playing hard and hitting, couldn't stop him. I remember the last game of the season. Okay, don't quote me on this, but I feel like our place was already secured. I think we were gonna finish like fourth or fifth. Fourth. We were gonna finish fourth for sure, so we didn't really need a win. But we were going to Cardiff for the last game of the season, and Cardiff was a tough game for them. They were, I don't remember exactly, but
is this the year before? Is this when the Calgary guys had just taken over the first year? Or was this the year after?
No, that's their first year. Was this
the start? Because they didn't win anything the first year.
No, they won the Challenge Cup their first year.
Yeah, sorry. They just started to turn things around a little bit there.
So I don't know. It was their last game. The last game of the season too. I don't know if they were still fighting for the league. I don't think they were. They were maybe for sure finishing second or third. It was not, in my memory, it was a pretty meaningless game. But for some reason, Larry, that game was like a bulldozer. He was hitting everyone. He was so dirty and fighting and everything. And I remember Max Perrant, a broken finger, but he ended up fighting, I think, Hendricks or Clarkson because
one of the big guys.
Yeah, because Larry made a stupid hit in a game that's when things were still a bit chippy and a bit crazy in the Elite League. But I remember Max being very pissed at Larry. Why the hell did you do that? Now I'm fighting with a broken finger for a game that doesn't mean anything. But yeah.
So then that season in Nottingham comes to a close. You get knocked out of the playoffs in the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
That year, and then you go to Cardiff. Did you have the chance to re-sign here, or was it you just looking at your options? So you had the conversation with Andrew before you went to Nottingham.
Yeah. So
you already had that existing relationship there.
Same with Todd. I've been in contact with Todd for a few years. So there was something that I was interested in the project that Cardiff was building.
Because they were building something. Yeah. Everyone knew what was coming.
Exactly. And I wanted to be a part of that. I knew how well they did the year before. They won a Challenge Cup. They almost won the league in their first year. They were going to move into the new rink. It's cool to be a part of that. Starting a project from the ground up and being a part of that.
There's legacy stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
It's not just another team. You're part of something that's going to be remembered forever.
Yeah. And they offered me a 2-year contract, which like a bit of stability. I'd move around. Those are the times in my career where I moved the most. I was all over the place.
And Cardiff's a nice place to live as well.
Yeah, nice place to live. And I felt like Lordo was going to trust me as a player and give me an opportunity to do good. So it was just an attracting decision. I didn't go to Cardiff because I was making more money or anything. I just went to Cardiff. I wanted to be a part of that process.
And the guys on that team, you've got Joey Martin. Everyone knows who he is. Thomas Kirker, who was a special player. Andrew Lord was still playing.
Yeah.
Lee Salters was on that team, another ex-Nottingham Panther. And you reunited with Ben Bounce.
Yeah.
Was Ben different then?
Yeah, he right away when I got to Cardiff, I could see that Ben matured. He was a number one goalie in this league, no questions asked. He was more confident. He was just more consistent. Like I said earlier, back in Hull, he was probably still young. It's tough. But in Cardiff, which he still is to this day, just a confident goalie, calm. But the same Ben off the ice, a clown, a weirdo. But yeah,
that's because he's a netminder.
Yeah.
You've managed to find the one normal netminder in the entire ice hockey world this year.
Is he normal?
Kevin?
We don't know. Yeah.
He paints.
I didn't know that.
There's water. You don't listen to the show then, do you?
No.
Oh. It came out on the episode 4.
I have hockey to watch.
You could get to know your team a bit better.
Yeah.
He paints with watercolours
Oh.
in his apartment.
I did not know that.
No, I told him to paint something for us, but he's not done it yet. So I need to chase him up on that. So then again, you're playing with a guy like Joey Martin, who's everyone knows he's a special player. He's had a bit of a rough time this year, but he's a special talent.
Yeah, I got to play on this line for probably most of the season that year. It was fun. I really like playing with him.
Is it just because of his intelligence, isn't it?
Yeah, just the way he sees the game, the way he.
He's not overly the quickest player out there. You never noticed
No, he's not slow, but he moves around really well. He just sees the game a bit. Not everybody is gifted enough to see what he sees, make the plays that he makes at high speed. And it was for me, like the type of player I was. It was a dream to play with a guy that maybe is a pass first. I think he became more of a shooter after in the last few years. Back then, Marty was a passer, and it was just nice.
I'm guessing you would have paid good money to play with David Ling then.
Yeah.
He would have been perfect for someone like you.
That would have been nice. Yeah.
So you do that in Cardiff. You get 4 games in the playoffs. So that means you got through to the final or the third place game.
That first year, I did not play 4 games in the playoffs.
According to
the second year.
1 game in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Did you get injured?
Because I got injured.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I misread.
Yeah. We played Dundee in the quarters, and I played the first game, then tweaked something in my back, and I didn't. We made it to Final 4, but we lost to Coventry in the semis.
So then you're in Cardiff on a 2-year deal. You come back. Mm-hmm. Is this when Andrews? Does he stop playing the second year?
The second year he started as a coach only, but he ended up playing a bunch of games.
Because then you got guys who are added in like Lane Ulmer, Joey Haddad.
No, Joey Haddad was there the first year.
Okay, I missed that.
Yeah.
But you're still with him again. So you're always back with a familiar face again.
Yeah.
Was he different when like you said he was immature when you met him in Prince Edward Island?
Yeah.
Was he different when you met him?
Yeah. Same thing. Got older. We became good friends in Cardiff off the ice, but on his game on the ice also matured. Like he's still a good player. He's having a great season, obviously, but back then he was really reliable, really solid power forward, protecting the puck like nobody else can. Still doing it today, but I remember that
he's a shooter now.
Yeah, he's a shooter now, but that year we lost in double overtime to Sheffield in the playoff final.
Oh, was that one, the Levi Nelson one?
Yeah, and that game, if you can find tape of that game, Joey Haddad was an absolute beast. I think he scored two unbelievable goals. He was just all over the ice. He like maybe that's the game I click like that was wow. He could be
special.
That was a great performance.
So also in that team you've got Patrick Bordelot.
Yeah.
Who was very much a cog in the success you had that year. Mm-hmm. What do you remember? Because he came in with a big resume because he was an NHL player. Yeah. So what do you remember about him?
He came in off a one-way NHL deal straight to the Elite League. That doesn't happen often. He played in the AHL the year before, but he was still on a one-way. He came in, and I've never seen a guy turn a game around with his forecheck like Bordy did. The other team could have a bit of momentum, and if Bordy managed to get a dump in, chase the puck and finish his hit a couple, like it would just people would be scared of him. He didn't really fight that year. I probably had 2 fights the whole year.
Well, because I don't think because I thought McGrattan was here.
Yeah, but they were buddies.
They didn't go with you. That's what everyone was expecting. Everyone was always like, this is going to happen. I was like, no.
Yeah, we knew it was not going to happen because they were friends. They fought a lot in the NHL, but not a lot, but they fought in the LHL, and I think they were past that. They didn't want to do it. But yeah, one of the only guys I can name that can really change the outcome of a game in a shift or two if he gets going.
That's a credit to him as well, because an NHL guy coming in and being willing to go on the forecheck and not just riding on his laurels on his resume. Yeah. He really bought into everything that year.
It was probably not easy at first. Like, these guys, not everybody, but these guys are probably they've had enough of playing on the fourth line and not getting any minutes. So when they come to Elite League, they want to have the puck on their stick. So it was probably a bit hard at first for Bordy to accept that he was going to play on our fourth line. But at the end of the season, when he was good, like, is one of the reasons I think we managed to win the league.
Well, you won 2 championships that year.
Yeah.
Won the Challenge Cup, which I imagine that came first.
Yeah.
And that's your first professional championship.
Yeah.
What was that feeling like?
Bittersweet because I was healthy scratched.
Oh.
Yeah, healthy scratch.
Wish I'd done a bit more research on that one.
No, it's all right. It's okay. It was tough.
That must be a weird situation.
Yeah, tough pill to swallow before the game.
Did you get pulled in before? Did you know going in that you were going to miss it?
I don't know how much I want to say about this
on
the internet. There's people that still are in position, but yeah, it was tough. It was, obviously I was disappointed as a person to not play that game. Playing in a final is something you dream of when you're a kid, but you get over it, and I managed to really enjoy the win afterwards. After the fact, when we won, I think I was a good teammate. I hope I was.
Well, it helps when you've got like guys like you say, you're friends with Joey Haddad. You'd be happy for him.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of thing.
And you get close with. It was my second year in Cardiff. We had I'm gonna say we had 3/4 of the team returning. So you're close with everybody. So you're happy for the club. You're happy for your teammates. But it's tough. Personally, it's still tough.
Yeah. So did the Elite League trophy mean more to you then? 'Cause you actually
maybe a bit more.
You played and contributed. In that one a bit more.
Maybe a bit. Yeah, exactly. I was a bigger part maybe of that.
Because do you remember when the game that you won that?
We won in Sheffield.
That's sweet.
Yeah, beating Sheffield. That was pretty cool. But they didn't have the trophy for us. I don't know if you guys probably saw the pictures. We were parading with a blow-up trophy that one of the fans threw over from the stands because we didn't have the trophy. I think the Devils wanted to make a special presentation on home ice. They didn't want us to have the real trophy in Sheffield, which is fine. But we just won the league. We wanted the trophy. Yeah. We didn't get it. And I played that game, which was good. You want to be on the ice for that celebration. And then the next day we played Fife at home, and it was
just a party.
But it was all set like. Credit to Lordo and Todd. They said, like, you have to play a good game. Let's put on a good show for our fans. Like, the season's not over, and I think we killed Fife. We played a really good game, killed Fife, and then celebrated on home ice, which is nice.
That's been the coolest experience in front of the home fans after you put on a show for them.
Yeah.
To then get to actually lift that trophy.
And it was the first win league title in Cardiff for a long time. I think 20 years maybe.
Ties into that legacy thing you were talking about. So
exactly.
you went there to build something. The second year, yes, you missed the Challenge Cup final.
Yeah.
But you were there for the big one.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the league is the most important trophy in this country, so you were there for that.
I was there for that. Yeah.
And then you were there for one of probably the most incredible playoff games of all time.
We were 1 goal away from winning everything, basically.
Well, I'm glad you didn't. That means Nottingham still has that.
Yeah, that's true.
That one nice record that still exists.
Yeah, now I'm okay with it.
I can imagine. So then, your time at Cardiff comes to a close. Did you want to stay in the Elite League?
Yeah. By that point, me and my girlfriend at the time, now wife, were established here. We liked it here. I felt confident in my game. I liked that. This league just suited my game for some reason, and it was easy for me to fall back on my feet and find a job. So I wanted somewhere where I could play. And it comes back to me, I guess, when I say it out loud, it's something that drove me is I just wanted to play and score goals. I was not going to be happy playing third, fourth line.
So you'd rather make less money but playing more than get
Yeah.
paid a bucket load and just have to sit there and watch.
And yeah, I wanted to play and win. That's all I care about. Yeah.
And so it's Milton Keynes. Is that another potential? Because that was their first year back in the Elite League. So because I remember when you signed there, it was a bit of a surprise. Always left Cardiff and gone to. You're quite a big name for them, a big get for them. So was that another project like opportunity?
Yeah, it was. Talking to Pete on the phone, he had solid bases. He wanted to build something solid in MK. Exactly same thing. Like the chance to be the first kind of team to go to MK in the Elite League and put on a good team and try to achieve something. It's somewhere where when I first signed, I could see myself playing for a few years.
Well, so, because given all the off-ice issues that they had and everything, their fan base is incredible.
Yeah.
I remember I went to a game there last year when Tim was in charge, and there's like the last 2 minutes where they all just stand there banging the glass and stuff. It's just like this most incredible.
Yeah.
I remember talking to Guy Lepin on the bench, because I'd never been before. I went, this is what it looks like. And Guy goes, it gets loud in here. It's probably the loudest place in the Elite League.
Yeah, people thought they were pumping noise in there. It was so loud.
Yeah.
I don't think they were. I think it's just those fans. They just cheer no matter the score, no matter what happens. They're just so proud of their club, and it was fun. No pressure. We were disappointed the way that season finished as a group of players, but the fans just wanted to cheer for us, win or lose.
It was even in the last year when when everyone knew they were dropping out. There was still the fans were just awesome.
Yeah,
it's the only word you can describe them.
Exactly.
But on that team, you've got some characters as well.
Yeah.
You've got Mika Weekman.
Yes.
And you got to see the last knockings of Matt Nickerson in the Elite League after his transgressions, shall we call them?
I was there for that day. Yeah.
How was that day?
Did I tell you that? I think I was present. Somebody would have to fact check me on this. I think I was present for the two biggest EIHL suspension in history.
Oh, the Derek Campbell one.
The Derek Campbell, I was in Hull, and Matt Nickerson, I was in Milton Keynes. So
what was that like to be involved in those then? Because that must be tough when because your teammates, you want to have their back.
Yeah, exactly. The Derek Campbell was just.
Because did you know what was happening with that one? Because you have to go all the way round and round again.
I mean, I don't know if my memory serves me correctly, or it's because I saw the video. I feel like from the ice, we saw what happened. We didn't know how bad it was. It's just, I think, a misjudgment.
Just the red mist, isn't it?
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I don't think he meant to do it. I don't think he was mean in any way. He just snapped, And then Nicker and Guilford. I really think Nicker and Guilford didn't deserve it. He should not have punched the window, but I don't think he was really aiming to punch anyone. He probably would admit it, that when he gets angry, he sees red and he get out of his way. But I think it's also an unfortunate situation where a guy that really didn't mean to cause that much trouble got finished his season.
It's one of the things where your name works against you sometimes.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Like if you'd done it might have been a bit different.
Yeah.
But if it's Nickerson, because he's a fighter. He's been at Belfast. He's been at Fife.
Yeah,
it's all a bit crazier.
Yeah, it's there's no excuse. Like you shouldn't hit a fan. I'm not saying that's okay at all. But I feel like I was there. I know Nicker. He wouldn't hurt a fly, except when he fights for his job. Like he's not that type of person. So I don't think he meant to do anything or harm anyone.
Then he went to play in Finland or something.
Yeah,
didn't he?
He went back to Finland.
At least he stayed.
Yeah,
got to do some bits. But then Milton Keynes season finishes. You then go to Milano. Is that in Milan?
Yeah.
So was that just you wanted to go and experience?
That year.
Because you go back there, you go there with your friend who you just played with, Francis Veropol. You play with him in Milton Keynes. Did you take him, or did he take you?
I took him to Milan. It was a weird summer. I was hoping to come back in the Elite League, but I was becoming a bit more picky. I was not going to go anywhere for any salary. I had a decent season in Milton Keynes. I was in a position where I kind of knew what I was worth, and I wanted to find a good team, a place where I would fit and maybe win something, and that kind of never came about. So I said, well, I still want to play. I'm still feel like I could be a good player, and I still have a few years left in me. So I just kind of waited it out, and then this opportunity came about. Try something completely different. Go to Italy, leave the UK for a bit. Try a different league, a different culture. Eat Italian food, which that was really appealing for me. And they were looking for 2 imports, so I called my buddy Frank and I said, Milan's looking for 2 imports. Would you come with me? And he said, yeah, let's go. And we went there. We had a blast.
Was it as good as the Mosi and Avaris, or?
Off ice, it was pretty cool. A completely different vibe. Maybe not as fun as skiing, but it's a big city. Always something to do. So much to see, so much culture, so much good food. We were struggling on the ice though. It was really a tough.
Because that's a league that just cuts in. If you're losing, they just cut imports, don't they? They like, if they get towards the end of the year, they'll cut and save for the next season. Yeah, that's kind of what they do.
Yeah, it's kind of what happened to them. To us, all imports got released. They just said the president, which was a really nice guy and talented guy, didn't speak English, just met all of us, all the imports, and said, sorry guys, you can stay, but if you stay, you might get your paycheck in September, you might get it in January, you might never get it, I don't know. So you guys stay if you want to. And we said, we can't really play for free. So we all ended up leaving, but they ran into a bunch of bad luck. The ice in Milano, when we showed up the first day of training camp in August, there was a big spot of water on the ice, and they thought, something just went wrong. They'll fix the plant and we'll be back and running day 2. Like, you'll just miss 1 practice, don't worry. But it ended up that the whole plant was broken. There was a leak and something, I don't know. But the full season we played on. So they put a system that you put in a mall for a rink.
Okay.
So they raised the boards and they put on top of the plant. They put little white pipes filled with water that freeze, and then that's what we skated on for the full season. And they installed the rink they put in the city hall square. They put that on top of the plant, and we played on that for the full season. So that cost, I think, the club like 250,000 euros to put that in emergency for the full season. So they basically just,
that was it then.
Yeah, that was it. There and then they had no money to pay us. So.
And then Glasgow comes calling.
Yeah.
Is that John Tripp, was it?
No, that was Pete.
Pete, sorry, yes, it was. Yes,
so that's my same...
yes, it was. He was the year before, wasn't he, John Tripp?
Yeah.
Sorry.
So that was this Pete, who
had you in Milton Keynes.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was good. Did he just know that had you already left Milan by that time, or was it just a case of, I'm leaving, I can come and play for you kind of thing?
I think Pete... We kept in touch, me and Pete. Now it's different because he's not my coach anymore, so I can say he's my friend. Back then we were not friends, but we kept in touch.
He's doing well out in Germany.
Yeah, he's doing really well. And I think he called me actually before I got released, saying they were looking for a player. He was going to make a change, and they were looking for a player. He just called me to, just to have a chat. And then a couple days later, shortly thereafter, they told us they couldn't pay us. So it happened pretty quick too. I called Pete and I said, yeah, sure, let's make it happen.
And that's a pretty cool setup they've got in Glasgow as well. Yeah. The rink, I always found the rinks really weird, like walking around the shopping centre and suddenly there's an ice rink there.
Yeah.
But it's quite, and their fans are loud as well. It's a good spot. And you were on a team with plenty of talented players. And I know his name will draw the ire of plenty of Nottingham fans who listen to this, but you and Brendan Connolly had a good on-ice relationship.
Yeah, really good relationship.
Like you said before, he just set you up with so many empty net tap-ins.
Yeah. We played on the same line probably the whole second half of the season when I was there. It was I like playing with Cons.
If he's on your team, he's the best player in the league.
Yeah.
If he's not, you can't. It's just like when the Panthers had Robert Farmer for 5 years.
Yeah.
No one else in any of the team liked Robert Farmer. But if you're a Nottingham fan, you love Robert Farmer because he riles everybody else up.
Yeah.
So what do you remember about that end of that little run in Glasgow though? Because you put some pretty good numbers there.
Yeah, I came in and we went on something like a 10-game win streak. We or maybe we won like 12 out of 15 something. When I came in around Christmas, we just started winning, so it was, it makes it so much fun. I came from Milan where we had like 5 wins maybe in my first 4 months, and then I go to Glasgow and we win 10 in a row. It was super fun, and we had a good team. We ran into a little bit of injury trouble at the end. I think it's unfortunate. We should have made it to playoff finals last year.
It's like you lost Connolly in that series against Fife.
Yeah, no, we lost Connolly in the last game of the season.
Oh yeah, with one of your current players involved in a situation there.
Yeah.
Brett got into plenty of those situations last
exactly.
year. He did the thing with the incident with Steve as well.
Yeah.
Then so your year comes to close in Glasgow, quarterfinal loss, and then you, like I say, you put up good numbers. So why put away the skates? Because that's the big question. Because when it was announced, it was a surprising name.
Appointment. That's probably because this opportunity fell on my lap. I mean, I worked really hard over the years to kind of develop relationships and stick around in the UK to be able to maybe think of making a career when I'm done playing. So when something actually comes about and there's an opportunity for me to find a role that I kind of dream of, it would have been hard for me to say no. Maybe it's still going to be there in 5 years. Let's try to play a few more years and wherever I would have ended up. So it was kind of too good to be true, too good to pass up on. It's something I always wanted to do, and obviously coming back here, it's a dream come true.
And then was that always a preferred direction than say coaching or anything?
Yeah. I firmly believe that there's people that have the personality, the temperament, to be good coaches. I don't think that's me. I mean, I could try it and work on it, but that's not what drives me. That's not what I'm good at. So I never really dreamt or thought of being a head coach. I really wanted to be involved in the game. I really like the game. I watch a lot of hockey. I'm becoming more of a nerd that I was when I played, because I have more time and that's what I do most of my time. But it was just that kind of this role that I'm in right now was just something special, something that was really appealing to me.
Because like the last year in Nottingham, it ended how it ended. It was what it was. It was a bit tumultuous kind of thing. Then the clear out happens. That everyone seems to move away, kind of thing. So you almost get a blank slate to come in with, which must have been appealing to you. Because again, it's a project then at that point where I think it's 12 new imports had to be brought in and stuff. So it's a whole new ball game for you.
It's an opportunity for me, and a couple weeks later, Tim, when he joined us, to create something that we can call our own, something that we can say, we strongly believe in this team, we strongly believe in this group. We picked those players for a reason. That's appealing. I go like you're finding common theme in my life, Dan. You should be a psychiatrist.
I feel like it in this chair sometimes, especially when Sam got into how scary fighting was. That got deep. That did. So when did Tim come on your radar then? Because that was your first big task, was to go out and find a coach.
Yeah, and that's what I spent most of my time doing when I got appointed. Then I got married like 2 days later. Then I went on a honeymoon, and then I worked during my honeymoon, and then the only thing I did was trying to find a coach. I wanted a guy that knew what the Elite League was about. So there was, that restricts the number of candidates right away. I did talk and interview and look at other candidates. Because
there was the one name that floated around when GB were away that seemed to get everywhere.
But I guess people probably people knew that because I would have said that I wanted somebody that knew the league, and there's not a ton of names.
Yeah.
But Tim, right away, I could see he was a guy that was passionate about coaching, passionate about the game, and what I liked about Tim is he already had a vision of what his coaching would be, his coaching style would be, his vision for this club would be. He already had right away, just because of the taste he got into coaching in Milton Keynes, he and he played for so many teams, so many good coaches over the years. He was able to develop his own style and his own vision. So that was really appealing.
That's when I had Jason on this. He was telling that all of the drills in training are all ones they had like in Wilkes-Barre.
Yeah.
So they've got all the same names. So they're all these like NHL style drills that they're always doing. So it's just all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So when you then go about building your team, you kind of started with defence first. I remember the first new guy who came in was Mark Matheson, which raised a few eyebrows everywhere because that's the second Steeler that's joined the team very quickly. So what do you remember about Mark becoming available that attracted you to him? Because him and Tim obviously had a relationship from their time in Sheffield.
Yeah.
He obviously wanted someone who he could trust to be his assistant coach as well as Strax as well.
Yeah. I think the fact that Tim could vouch for him, and made it an easier decision, obviously, because I knew him as a player. I played against him. I watched him play. But when somebody like Tim says, this guy could be really helpful. Tim was a forward when he played. So to bring in somebody with a defense background would really be a good addition to this group we were building. So it was, and we. There's always room for an experienced offensive defenseman like Mark. Like, just the way he plays is enough for us to be interested in him.
And the amount of minutes he plays.
Yeah, we didn't know about it. At that point, I didn't know he was going to play that many minutes.
Especially coming off was it broken foot, broken ankle?
Broken ankle, yeah.
I think it was Brett that broke his ankle as well, Pelini.
Yeah, you did tell me that. Yeah. But yeah, it was kind of an easy decision when you put everything together. I knew it was going to maybe ruffle some feathers that my two first appointments were ex-Sheffield players.
I think Tim less than Mark. I think Mark was a bit more synonymous with them.
Yeah.
I think Tim was in Sheffield and then he didn't have the best year there either. And there was and it turns out because he told me that he was stuck at centre for the whole year and he'd never played centre in his life. He's just like, what do you want me to do? I don't know how this works.
Yeah.
But then you've got Mark, you've got Tim, and then you've also got Rick in there as well now.
Yeah.
And Rick, as someone who's like Mr. Nottingham Panthers at this point, how important is he to have like around?
Oh, it's so useful, and it's so nice that I had right away. I had someone I could ask all my questions and all. What do you think of this, Strax? How does this work? It was super easy and super helpful to have, and he knows the game really well. He's been around. He knows the league really well. He has a lot of contacts outside of the elite league, so when you're trying to get references, I always ask Rick, do you know someone that could help us? And it was good. It was my first go at it. It was nice to be surrounded right away with people that I could rely on and ask questions and trust.
And the good thing about Rick as well, there's no bull with Rick. He just tells you exactly what he thinks. So you would have asked him what went wrong last year, what was the problem, and then you can work on that from there.
Exactly.
Because the big thing you and Tim both said whenever we interviewed you throughout the summer, me or Gary, every time it was a new player, it was, he's a great guy, or this is a great guy, or this is a great guy. That was like the common theme through everything, that you were trying to build this locker room of good human beings. Almost.
I think we both think it goes a long way. Obviously, you need guys that are competitors. You need guys that are gonna do well, play well. It's not good enough to be a good guy, but we both believe that if you come to the rink every day, it's a long season. It's a lot of time spending together.
Is that something you learned from your time at Cardiff when you won the league about what it takes in a locker room to win a league championship?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. See, witness firsthand how much hours and how much effort you put into building a group and a relationship with your teammates. If it doesn't click, if there's no chemistry, it's gonna be tough to win games. It's not impossible, but it makes it harder. So we want to put all the odds on our side.
And then we'll break down the season as a whole when it's finished. But what would you say the biggest lesson you've learned so far is? Because obviously you've had guys come in. You had Alexis retired.
Yeah.
Jens and William went back to Sweden. They're not necessarily recruiting mistakes, but they're like lessons you've learned from the type of player that you need, kind of thing.
Yeah. It's a good question. The biggest...
It only took me over an hour to ask a good one.
Yeah. Come on, Dan. I've learned so many things, little things like... And I learn every day. I'm not ashamed to say it. It was a steep learning curve when I got this job. I'm not gonna hide. But I keep, getting more efficient the way I work. I keep making more contacts. I keep... maybe understanding and knowing exactly what I want in a player. So when I think when the next batches of recruitment come, whenever that is, I'll probably be better off. I'll probably be more informed and than I was last summer. The fact that last summer everything was a bit rushed, I started recruiting a bit late when you compare it to the other elite league teams. This time around, I'm already on it, so that's gonna help. But what the biggest thing I learned, it's hard to pinpoint one thing in particular. I don't know.
That's fair. That's a fair answer.
Yeah.
Because like when you bring in a guy like Jens Jacobs, who's, as I remember I told you, he's the 13th top point scorer in Allsvenskan history. In theory, that should pull off. But there's no beast quite like the elite league, is it?
Exactly.
So when he leaves, someone like Jake comes in, who's played in this league before, it's different.
It's different. Maybe, the word that comes to mind, the word that probably you guys are tired of hearing me say is fit. But I think it's important.
Well, that's why you've been patient with everything. You always say that you want the right guy, not a guy.
A guy, yeah. And some people might hate me for that. But that's the way I see things. Good things come to those who wait. I believe in that. I believe
Julian. Jake. Ryan.
Yeah. The last few signings we made late in the summer were worth waiting for. And I really believe in trusting the process. And I'm not a big believer in quick fixes and irrational decisions and acting upon emotions. That's not my style. That's not how I see us becoming a solid, leading team in this country for many years to come.
We'll break down the roster and everything when the time comes at the end of the year when that comes. So that's a lot of hockey talk.
Yeah.
What does Guy Doucet like to do away from ice hockey?
Oh, right now.
Apart from that doesn't include watching video on ice hockey.
On ice hockey, yeah. Okay. So if I don't watch the NHL highlights or I don't work, I do a lot of cooking. I love cooking. Spend a lot of time in the kitchen.
Do you have a specialty?
My gnocchis are pretty solid if you ask Stina. I think that's what she would say. I do a lot of watching food shows. All the food shows, food documentaries, I do a lot of that. And then now... Is that
the Great British Bake Off then?
Yes, because one of Stina's good friend was on it a couple of years ago.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. She was... you should have her on your podcast.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
Yeah. She'd come for sure. I watch a lot of cooking shows. I love going to the market. I live close to Borough Market, so when I have a bit of spare time, I just go for a walk and buy fresh ingredients and come home and try something weird or cook something that Stina doesn't feel like eating because she wants to eat healthy, and I cook something weird. But it makes me happy. It takes my
therapeutic.
Yes, it takes my head away from the game. Takes my head away from recruiting and watching tape. So put on music.
You need that break, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I don't take it enough. I think Stina tries to tell me to stop because it's easy. You work with agent and players that are in North America, so it's easy to work late and long hours, and it's easy to I'll just watch a bit of this or I'll just start this, and you kind of lose track of time. And but I don't think it's healthy. I don't think I'm really efficient when I do that. Cooking, putting a good playlist on and cooking is a good therapeutic.
So how have you found the transition from player to management? Because that's not easy.
No, it's not easy.
Because I remember the first day of training camp, you said, "This is when I miss. This is when I'm missing it now."
Yeah, it's easier to not miss playing because I'm still involved in it every day. I still, that's what I do, hockey, all day, every day. So I don't get that part of it, but I went to the road game in Cardiff last Sunday, and I told Tim on the bus, now I wish I was playing. Like, getting ready for a big game like this, you only have to worry about one thing, is how you're going to prepare. Yeah, tonight. Yeah, tonight is a good example, but I'm not on the bus. But yeah, tonight, getting ready for a big game, like I wish I could play. I missed that part of it. But do I miss like watching everything I eat?
Aching all the time.
I thought about that last night, actually. I said, oh my God.
You feel so fresh.
I feel good. Like, I'm out of shape completely, but my back's not hurting, my shoulder's not hurting, my wrists are not hurting. But the switch to management, I think it's gonna keep getting easier as time goes on. It's still, these guys I would like to be friends with. I think I could be close friends with most of them, but I'm not, because that's not my role anymore. I tried to have this balance and this kind of separation. I'm not, a stranger to them, but
because you're over there, but you don't you're not there interfering. You're there if they need you for anything. So you kind of, I can't remember which owner it was about. It's about the story about a guy who used to own the Lakers. One of the reports. You come to some practices, but you're not there all the time. He goes, why do you come? And he goes, just see if anyone needs anything.
Yeah,
so that's why. So you got to be approachable, but not too friendly. Exactly. You got to be. You got to strike the balance.
Exactly. And I try to build relationship with everyone, every single one of these players, but not the same relationship that I would have built last season if I was a player. And that's something I kind of learned on the spot. But I would, I played in a bunch of teams in my years. I kind of know what to do and what not to do. Not to get too close, not to get too cold and distant. I try my best. I probably make some mistake along the way, but I'm okay with that.
That's the only way you learn. If you make mistakes, you have to mess something up to know how to fix it.
Yeah.
So you ready for a big game tonight then?
Yeah.
I've seen you in the box. You're not overly the most. I'm glad I don't sit in the same box as you.
Yeah, it's probably not fun to watch a game with me.
That's why I like doing the updates and stuff, because it takes your mind off everything.
Yeah.
When you typing away, it's like,
can't.
oh, we're 3-0 down, but I have to do this. So it's like when we lose, it's like, oh yeah, I'm upset we lost, but I've got stuff to do, so I can't let it.
You can't let it.
I can't let it bother me. I've got to go and do an interview. I've got to go and put this on the website. I've got to do all this. Then by the time you finish, you're like, oh, that's all right.
Yeah, I think it's a bit like you. I think it's hard for both of us because we don't. When the game starts, my job is done. I don't have any more. I can't change the outcome. Before the game, after the game, that's when I work and try to make this team better. But when the puck is dropped, nothing I can do. And I think that's hard for me to accept. It's hard to stay put and not be fidgety and be stressed. It's probably better now than it was in September and October, but it's still stressful and it's still tough.
Maybe we should put a GoPro on you for one game.
I don't know if I want to see that.
Well, we could mic you up.
Oh, nah, that would be a lot of beeping.
Well, that's why I'm waiting for the footage of we mic Matheson up at practice last week.
Yeah.
And I'm waiting for the footage to come back from it, because I've been told it's very good, but I've not seen any of it yet.
Is there a lot of...
I don't know. He doesn't swear a lot.
No, he doesn't.
He's very polite. Yeah. I always say he's too polite to have ever played for Sheffield. So what would you say, like, yours and Tim's long-term vision for this place is? Because I know, obviously, from talking to you, want to leave it in a better place than when you got here, sort of thing, down the line. But what would you say your short-term goals are, and then long-term goals?
Short-term, I think we just want to build on the core. I think we have something good right now.
Because Cardiff have shown that building on a core is the way. That's almost how they've shown the path to successes in this league.
Exactly. I think it doesn't mean you're going to have success right away, and it's not a given, but it really helps you achieve longevity. So if you want to get something long term, something that year in and year out you just tweak here and there, you don't completely start from scratch. It gives you a big advantage. So I think short term goals would be that to build on what we have and keep improving, keep making changes to really establish ourselves as a dominant team in this country. And then a long-term goal would be just year in and year out we're dominant and we're a force, and players want to come play for us because they know this is a great place to play. You get treated first class, they take care of you, and you win championships. And then people that don't play for us are afraid to play against us, and they respect us because we're a solid and strong club.
Have you got used to the more media attention you have to do now? Or you have to do more interviews, you have to do more of everything?
I don't know, you tell me.
You can't just hide in the background as a player anymore, can you?
You tell me, am I doing a good job? I don't know, I got used to it.
You've been talking for about 2 hours now or something. It must be around that. I'll have a look in a minute. But you've been going for a while, but you do seem more comfortable in this than you were.
Yeah.
Like, I remember when you did the first like interviews you did with Gary over the phone and stuff. Yeah. It was always a bit. And then when we did a few, you were like, "Oh, is that okay?" Or
Yeah.
Because when you're a player, you do like one a week maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas now you're doing stuff.
You probably say the same thing and you try to not give anything out. Now, it's probably not one of my strengths doing interviews and being on camera, but I'm definitely a bit more comfortable. I'm trying to get my point across a bit better, express my vision and my ideas a bit better, clearly. But I think it's gonna come with practice too. I'm gonna say stuff that I shouldn't say, and it's just the way it is. But
no one said anything they shouldn't say on this so far.
No?
So not even David Ling.
Oh,
he was very well behaved.
Wow.
He said actually one thing about Russians that probably wasn't wise. He accused them of always being drunk.
Oh,
as a country, he just said they all just drive all the time.
Yeah, that's a bit.
He didn't like it there though.
No,
he said he went there. He admitted I went there for the money.
Yeah.
He literally. That was it.
That's probably a common theme if you ask the people.
Oh yeah, but he said the same thing about Finland as well, which really surprised me. He said he just didn't trust it. He didn't like.
I never meant this.
Yeah, he said that it's the same kind of vibe about it. You know, this wasn't too daunting for you, was it?
No, it was okay.
And now you've got it out of the way. You don't have to do it again.
Yeah, now it's done. I can prepare and go back to work for.
You saying I've kept you from work for 2 hours?
No. It's game day. Game day, I have a bit more free time.
No, I need to work on my next target for this now.
Which will be?
I don't know yet.
Okay.
I'm terrified to do George because I think that one could go for about 6 hours.
Yeah.
I'm not sure there's enough memory in the camera to last for a whole George interview.
You'll find somebody.
But you've got to you're following Sam.
Oof. Big shoes to fill.
How do you feel about that?
Well, his career is way better than mine already. But
see, what we're going to do is we're going to leave people on tenterhooks because I think I'm going to ask you questions about Sam, but I'm not. I'm not going to go near it. That's where this is going to finish. So thank you for doing this.
You're welcome.